On today, I guess I'll just say it now. I'm not a progressive. I'm not a liberal. I'm a revolutionary. That means that I believe that the way the system was originally designed was never meant to benefit certain demographics of people and many other people. And I think one of the biggest lies, especially told to the Black and Latino community, is I want to be treated just like white people. Like broke, poor-ass white people that get drafted and sent to fight in some nonsensical war in Vietnam. That's what I want to be treated like. Treated like people who don't have the access to understand what genetically modified stuff there is in their food. I think that when we speak specifically about the capitalist system, that's in where you confront the moral outrage the most. And it's not feigned in the sense that people pretend to be outraged. As a matter of fact, people want to quell that outrage as much as they can and pacify it with whatever else they have available to them. Like, I'll give a brief example and I'll let someone else answer. If the United States didn't have an NBA Finals, if they didn't have a Super Bowl, I love sports, don't get me wrong, I'm a Yankee fan, I hate the Sox, whatever. The reality is this, that if those things didn't exist, do you know how much more people would be involved in something that's political? You know, if those individuals didn't have that obsession to deal with, how many more times do you think people would be so outraged with something that they see that they would rile against it in a way that couldn't be quelled? And I think that's where the traditional leftist idea of popular uprisings and protests by the people are powerful, but the problem is that these protests never get the proper media attention that they deserve because you have a conglomerate. So I think that when you're talking about that, it's very difficult to completely remove yourself. I think most individuals that live in this country that don't agree with it try to minimize the influence of capitalism as much as they potentially can, saying to themselves, listen, we understand that this is a drug, right? You give it to me every day, like not a drug dealer, but a drug pusher, if we remember the 70s phrase, right? The pusher, what does he do? He says, oh man, you get some free cocaine today, some free weed, sure little kids, come on, hang out with me, just like the Pied Piper, here's your getting drink. Until one day, he says, hey man, you know what? This costs something. And you're gonna have to give me some money for this, otherwise I won't give it to you. And therein lies the mousetrap, because people are so used to getting that they say, oh man, you know, America's providing me with Social Security, with health care. Well, where's she getting the money for all this? Where are we drawing from the well? Whose well is it? You know, at what point do we look at all the military bases that we have around the world and say, hey, how can we be a republic? We look much more like an empire. You know? That's one.
This might be a good time to tell the